Christians should never celebrate Halloween. Here's why. Halloween as we know it today has deep roots in paganism, going back more than 2,000 years to the ancient Celts who celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. The Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. They celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. During Samhain, the Celtic druids or priests would make predictions about the future, conduct rituals, and even make sacrifices to the Celtic deities. This was a time of deep superstition and engagement with spiritual forces that the Bible warns Christians against. Fast forward to the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor all saints and martyrs, a holiday known as All Saints' Day. The night before was known as All Hallows' Eve, and later Halloween. Over centuries, Halloween incorporated Samhain's traditions and then traveled to the shores of America with the waves of European immigrants. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 11 tells us to have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. And the practices associated with Halloween's origins, such as divination and spirit communication, are clearly warned against in Deuteronomy chapter 18 verses 10 to 12, stating, "There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells or a medium or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord." In its original form, Halloween was a time filled with omens, superstitions and practices that are contrary to the teachings of the Bible. Today, while it may seem like a harmless night of costumes and candy, we cannot overlook its deep-rooted connection to the occult. Fast forward to today, and Halloween has taken on a new form. A form that is draped in costumes, abundant with candy, and overflowing with merchandise. Halloween has been commercialized to such an extent that its original connotations are often forgotten. Once a Celtic festival, Halloween as we know it today is a billion-dollar industry. The focus has shifted from honoring the dead and warding off harmful spirits to an emphasis on consumerism. There's a constant push for the latest costumes, the most extravagant decorations, and the sweetest candies. This shift towards materialism seems to be a stark contrast to the Christian values of humility and contentness. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 says, "Let your conduct be without covetousness. Be content with such things as you have." This verse encourages Christians to be satisfied with what they have, and not to crave material possessions. Yet, the commercialization of Halloween encourages just the opposite. The commercial aspect of Halloween doesn't stop at costumes and candy. This industry has also capitalized on the fear and horror associated with Halloween. The sale of horror films, haunted house tickets, and other fear-inducing merchandise has become a significant part of the Halloween economy. This celebration of fear and horror is completely inconsistent with the Bible. Over and over again, the Bible tells us not to fear. For example, Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 tells us, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." To add to this, the commercialization of Halloween also tends to glorify death and darkness. From skeleton decorations to zombie costumes, the imagery associated with Halloween often revolves around themes of death. Christianity places a strong emphasis on the sanctity of human life. The Bible teaches that every person is created in the image of God, and that life is a precious gift. Glorifying death can devalue the inherent worth and dignity of individuals. While it's true that the commercialization of Halloween has shifted the focus away from its origins, that doesn't make it any more compatible with Christian values. Halloween is also associated with fear and horror. As we journey through the traditions of Halloween, one cannot ignore the celebration of fear and horror that permeates the holiday. From haunted houses to terrifying costumes, the emphasis on fear is clear. However, Christianity is built upon the cornerstone of love, hope, and faith. The Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 4 verse 18, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear involves torment. But he who fears has not been made perfect in love." In contrast, Halloween appears to revel in the fear and torment that are expressly shunned by the teachings of the Bible. The celebration of fear during Halloween seems to contradict these core Christian values, creating a stark disparity. Similarly, The glorification of death is another aspect of Halloween that is fundamentally at odds with Christian beliefs. Costumes of ghosts and skeletons, and decorations of tombstones and coffins all celebrate mortality and death. Yet the Christian faith is grounded in the belief of eternal life. As stated in John chapter 11 verse 25, Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live." This verse underscores the Christian belief that death is not the end, but the beginning of an eternal life with God. Halloween's portrayal of death as something to be feared stands in stark contrast to the Christian perspective, which views death as a passage to eternal life. This difference shows that Halloween and Christian beliefs are out of harmony. Indeed, the themes of Halloween seem to contrast starkly with Christian teachings. Halloween's imagery can also have a profound impact on children. Halloween in its modern form often involves elements that can be quite unsettling. We see images of ghosts, ghouls, witches, and demons everywhere. It's a time when the macabre and the morbid are celebrated, when fear and horror are turned into entertainment. Now that's a lot for an adult to process, let alone a child. Halloween can desensitize young minds to these dark elements. Instead of teaching children to be cautious of evil and harmful forces, Halloween encourages them to embrace these elements, to find amusement in them. This can lead to a distorted understanding of good and evil, life and death. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 22 tells us, "Abstain from every form of evil." Halloween, with its emphasis on the dark and supernatural, can lead children away from the path of light and truth that Christianity promotes. Furthermore, Christian values emphasize love, kindness, and respect for life. These values can become blurred when children are exposed to the dark elements of Halloween. They may start to find humor in fear, to see terror as a source of entertainment. This can make it challenging for them to fully grasp the essence of the gospel. Remember, Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6 states, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it." As parents, guardians, and mentors, it's our responsibility to guide our children towards the path of righteousness. We should be cautious about what they are exposed to, ensuring it aligns with the teachings of our faith. If you agree with this video, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell to get notified about my future uploads. Christians should never celebrate Halloween. Halloween has pagan origins and elements of the occult, glorifies death, and promotes fear and horror, and is full of consumerism, which only serves to distract us from the spiritual essence of life. Not to mention, it can be harmful for our children with its evil elements.